Hey everyone, we're back with another character intros, this week featuring Mickey, who portrays Kies, and Tim, who portrays Jaeger. We have a couple little announcements and then a very big announcement. Um, we want to say thank you again to Swordco Soundscapes for the lovely background music. Check him out on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you find streaming music these days. Our second, we have a new emote for subscribers if you guys want to check that out. That was developed by Kies, I believe. We love it. It's the first of many to come, I'm sure.
We need more subscribers for more emotes.
Oh, we're getting an echo somewhere.
I think it's coming from your OBS or something.
Let me check. Is it still getting an echo?
Echo? No.
Thank God. It was. I don't know what it was. No idea. Gotta love technology.
Hey.
Awesome. Thank you for pointing that out. Do not forget to keep your eyes on the new announcement channel in Discord. We'll be posting things as they come up there, so that will be the first place. But our first very big announcement, Anthony, who portrays Costo, will be hosting a streamed one-shot on June 3rd for 5 lucky subs. Make sure you get your subscription on Twitch in. We'll be announcing the 5 winners after the break on our May 30th stream, Sunday, May 30th. So to be selected, make sure you're subbed by 5 p.m. on that Sunday. So just check it out. You can sub in, and that will make sure that you get your chance in to get into that. That will, like I said, that will be streamed on Thursday, June 3rd, I think. Yeah, June 3rd. So hop in and enjoy. But don't forget to keep your eyes on that announcement channel. We have a lot of big things coming up now that we've hit affiliate.
Huge things.
Massive things. I don't know, Jake, if he will RP as Costo as the DM. I'm sure he would be amenable to that.
Wouldn't that be like having Liam Neeson DM your game?
Basically. Which I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be very okay with that.
So
he'd definitely go for a TPK like right away.
Oh yeah. Liam Neeson would just be, I have a particular set of skills. It involves killing all your characters.
Yeah. He'd go to town.
He would. I don't know if we could make that a stretch goal, Jake. I don't. That's a whole different set of questions there.
Stretch goal to hire Liam Neeson.
Yeah. We're gonna need like 100,000 subs. We're gonna have to hold that goal for at least a year just to get him in here. Anyway, let's. We're gonna kick this off. I'm going to pass it over to Mickey. Let him explain Kies. Give a little bit of backstory and go ahead.
I mean, Kies is just a regular guy, down on his luck, just trying to make it in the world. Doesn't like dirt. But Kies is a human. He's just a normal human that doesn't look human at all. And I know it's weird, right? Archway Warlock. Archway is probably not the most powerful warlock in the book, but that's what I like about this stream, this game. We're not trying to be the most min-maxed people in the world. He's just trying to make it out, make his way in the world. Maybe drink some wine. He likes the finer things in life. That doesn't necessarily make him a bad guy, as I know Anthony or Costo seems to think that these fancy people are just bad guys. I think he's a pretty good guy.
I mean, I can agree with he's a pretty good guy.
Pretty solid.
He's a solid guy.
All right. Tim, I will let you introduce Jaeger.
All right. So Jaeger is an interesting case because Jaeger kind of can't even understand himself. And I guess Jaeger is at this point is mostly tied to the history of Warforged, where like they were around however many years ago, and they served a certain purpose back then, and then were suddenly deactivated, and then over time, sporadically, they'll reactivate and kind of just reintegrate into this world. And it's been brought up in the campaign that Jaeger has been awake for a grand total of now 11 days.
Pushing into 12 days.
Yeah. So to say that Jaeger is a fish out of water or a lost puppy is applicable if a lost puppy was a giant metal man that could shoot an arrow. But we'll see Jaeger go through a lot of changes. He's very flat right now. He's his emotional range is minimal, but we'll see development in time.
He has huge range. I don't know what you're talking about. He goes from tragedy to comedy like that.
He does.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's because he doesn't understand exactly how tragedy works. So the comedy it's like tragedy's next door to him.
Yeah.
I mean, comedy is just tragedy plus time, right? So
yeah.
I mean,
and he's had a lot of time. Like thousands of years or 11 days.
To put Jaeger like in a bottle, I would say he's like recently woken up from a really bad coma.
that's a great way to look at that. A mechanical coma.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know we don't really get too much into backstories, and like I know definitely Kies has not really come out at all, but he's very interested in Jaeger, and like we didn't like plan these stories together at all, but Jaeger's story works very well with Kies, and what can I say? He was very interested in what Alejandra was doing to Jaeger in our last episode.
Ooh.
So that's...
I like that. A little foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
And with things that I like sprinkle in, like Jaeger has like integrated instincts that are thematic. And so if you pay attention real close, then you could probably glean what he was about pre-coma. But it's all there, kind of just buried.
Is he about murdering devils?
Well, the symbol on his chest would indicate as so, but Jaeger would also not know what that's all about.
No idea. He has a 10-second snippet of his past so far, I think.
Yeah. Alejandra now knows as much about Jaeger as Jaeger does.
Literally, yes. Well, I can't say that. I mean, as a Warforged, you have like, it would be like being born as a 30-year-old. Like with all the like ability to speak and reason and stuff, but just not knowing what happened from like the moment before that. You just like appeared as a 30-year-old with full 30-year-old intellect, but no past to base your ideas on. Could you imagine that?
Jaeger is a severe case of homeschooling syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. So like I'm gonna hijack this interview here. So Jaeger, tell me how you feel. No, but like, so the thing with like barricading the door, did he like on day one when he woke up, was he like, I need to barricade the door? Like that was instinct memory, or was that learned over the 10 days?
No, that was learned. If you get what I'm saying here, when I say he woke up in a glass box, it's very much a like Commander Data thing, where is he property or is he a person?
Well, that's yeah, that's it's tough because in the world he's a person, but as some people might, yeah, exactly like Commander Data. Like he's a person if you know him, but if you don't, like that could be a tough. That's definitely a great way to look at that.
Yeah. So the barricading and the anxiousness is learned.
Yes.
There's probably a little bit of his past instinct in there, but right now he feels in danger literally all the time.
Except
like-
when he's flashing people, I think.
Yeah. I think he just saw Kies as such of a little threat that he was like, I can get comfortable with this guy.
Oh.
Just I make everyone feel safe.
Yeah.
Kies is like, I can protect you, so you should feel safe around me.
Yeah. Sure.
That's it. Right. Totally.
But yeah, like the whole staying, on the side of the room with a crossbow pointed at the door, that is literally in anticipation for whatever caused him to get like that.
Oh. Yeah.
Question for the DM.
Go ahead.
Does everyone in the party have some sort of other group that is hunting them down in the background?
No.
That's the vibe I'm getting from Jaeger now.
No, not every member has someone hunting them. A couple people do, but not everyone.
Just all of a sudden, like multiple groups show up. Like, I want to kill this man. Well, I want to kill this man. They fight over who gets to kill us.
I mean, maybe it's like like getting third partied. Maybe you share. They fight each other, and then you guys can dip. We'll see. We'll see. That comes down. That's later. No spoilers.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna jump into some questions here that were submitted to the Discord. These are from Music Maven, one of our. You see her in Discord all the time. How did you find D&D?
Go ahead.
Yes, we'll go with you first.
So I would say I'm a late bloomer into D&D, and that I started with 5e. I don't know if that's late, but I was a Warcraft baby. Ooh. And started playing World of Warcraft back in vanilla days, and it's funny because everyone around me, like my parents, are big sports people, and like sports, and D&D was like this like hushed corner that like didn't really talk about, and it was the same kind of with WoW for me. Is like I played WoW, but like I didn't talk about it with these people. I kept it quiet. And then, kind of growing up, you get a little more comfortable with yourself, a little like, well, actually, I'm really into this, nerdy stuff. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy. And then when 5e was like coming out, it was like, announced, and I'm like, well, that seems like something I would be into, right? Like this seems up my alley. And I got handbook, DMG, Monster Manual, the books you need. And when you first get it though, and now you're like, oh wait, who do I play with? So then you just start roping all your friends in. But then when you do that, you realize, oh, I have to do all the work now. Like literally all the work. I'm like, all right, guys, I made like 12 character sheets for you to pick from. And,
I felt that in here. I felt that right in here.
Right? Like, come on, let's just play D&D. And then it's like, oh, they try it and they enjoy it. And then, then things like Critical Role start taking off a little bit. And it's like more people like, oh, I want to try this D&D thing. I want to try. Now it's suddenly a little more out in the open, and more people are like, oh, well, yeah, I play D&D and I play D. I'm like, you play D&D? Like, let's play. And now all of a sudden you have like multiple groups that have been going on for years, and you're like, this is great. And that's the journey of a little boy that just wanted to play World of Warcraft.
I mean, hey, it's as good a way to get in as any.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, how did you get into D&D?
So, like a lot of people, I grew up with the awareness of D&D, but it's no secret that D&D is frowned upon where I live. I live deep in the American South, very much in the stereotypical kind of community, where I didn't get to watch Harry Potter until I stole it from someone and watched it in the middle of the night.
That's rough.
Yeah. It's just like an old VHS that was like sitting on a counter. So with Critical Role and 5e, that's when I finally like realized the opportunity that like, hey, I could probably do this and not feel bogged down by what D&D, I guess, in my mind was associated with was like crazy math crunching and weird kids. Yeah.
It's kind of accurate.
But I guess the thing that really got me to make the leap into actually putting a group together was about 3 years ago. I was in a dangerously depressive state. I had a lot of change happen in my life recently and wasn't handling it very well. And so I reached out to not a therapist, but like a life coach. And he suggested that I find some kind of extracurricular hobby that I could keep my interest in, because I had poured money and time into hobbies that I was kind of like half-assed about and then dropped them a couple months later. And so D&D presented that opportunity where, one, it could engage my creative writing, which I've done since high school. I was also in like musical theater and dabbled in some improv and all things that I really like tried, and then I was like, I don't like this. But D&D presented where it was just an amalgamation of stimulation. So I discovered Critical Role after that, called up some old friends from high school that I hadn't seen for like 3 years, and was like, hey, you want to get together on a Tuesday and kind of fall with grace into doing this? And so now here we are. I've run multiple games. I've been playing D&D literally nonstop for 3 years straight. And it's feeling good. It's like my, like almost my, what is it? Motivation. Like I work to play D&D. That's it.
Make money, spend on D&D, repeat.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I do know. Oh, I do know.
It's a vicious cycle.
So what is D&D the only tabletop RPG you guys play? I mean, I know, Mickey, you said you played War. Well,
oh wow, that's not tabletop, but
I know. I mean, I've
RPG.
played. Yeah. Do you play any other?
Currently, I am not. No like Call of Cthulhu or anything like that going on. I mean, I have the whole shelf of board games, RPGs, all that back there, but currently it's just I have 2 games of D&D, and that's all I've got going right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have this one, and I'll be playing in one with Tim here soon, but this takes a lot of time as the DM, making sure that it's stream worthy.
As much as being a player is fun, I really find my true enjoyment in DMing, and so I'm very excited for you to be a player and what I got going on. So that's
I'm excited as well. Yeah, I think my enjoyment from coming as a player is going to be the fact that for once I'm not being undermined. I get to do the undermining. And to Jake, that is I will be playing a Vengeance Paladin. With a very, very fun. I think I have a very good character arc planned for this character. I'll say it that way.
It's pretty metal.
It is.
I played a Vengeance Paladin for 2 years. They are a lot of fun. Wrathful Smite pairs really well with a Vengeance Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not spending all your spell slots just on Divine Smite. But,
Yeah. I'm a Divine Smiter. Like, oh, critical roll. Divine Smite.
Yeah, Divine Smite. But the Wrathful Smite with your like fear aura thing.
Oh yeah.
Just pairs. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Yes.
Listen, you want to talk?
That would be Leonard's kiss. Mwah.
Oh, mwah, Leonard's kiss.
Listen, you want to talk about undermining? Let me tell you about the time that the characters in my first run through Strahd abused the system of teleportation circles and subverted the hardest encounter in the entire book.
We'll save that one for a little later. We have questions involving just that.
Oh no! I'm just saying, like that was the ultimate subversion, and I granted them a level for it.
That's a milestone.
That is, yeah. So what? These are, like I said, these are all from Music Maven. What made you want to get involved in a streamed campaign rather than just another game?
So playing with everyone around me that's local and stuff, I pretty much introduced everyone that played with me to D&D. So we were all starting out as novices, but I was a little more involved because I had, stage training. I could do voices, and I put in the time to make sure that I was providing, a good time. But when it came to wanting to join a streamed game, I wanted to interact with people who played at a higher level. Because I wanted to be the weak link for once. I wanted to interact with the characters more than talking to the DM directly more than anything else. So I was really looking for like a narrative, like character-driven game, and stream games kind of tend towards that naturally. And so when I saw the opportunity arise, I had to jump on it, like no questions asked, like I gotta try.
I feel that the weak link part on so many levels. Like, yes, I want to be the person that feels like, oh, I need to step my game up. I need to write a better backstory, because it's, I go back to like showing up with the character sheet. Like, I have these 12 characters you can pick from, and they all have sort of backstories in my mind that you don't care about because I'm kind of forcing you to play D&D with me. But then you start to meet people that actually play D&D, but then getting into the streamed game, it's like people that are taking it just like that notch more seriously, and seeing that effort put in just in the like recruiting process of like, hey, this is the application, we're doing interviews, it's going to be played on camera, I think is
so
huge.
many interviews.
Yeah. But it's okay. That means I'm going to be playing on camera with people that have at least a decent camera, at least a decent mic, and just kind of putting effort into those backstories that I love. Like, you catch like the little hints of it, little hints of that. That's something you don't always get with just kind of your regular game of D&D. There, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if somebody is like, I play a guy and he just hits things, and you're like, cool, like whatever you're doing to have fun, great. Like, as long as you're having a fun playing the guy that hits things. Like, my name's John Smith and I hit things with my sword.
Yeah.
Like,
every home game has that one player that's like, I attack again, or I go tell the guard that I want to get through the gate, and then the DM's always like, well, why don't you actually ask the guard that you want, say that to the guard that you want to get through the gate. And that's really what I was looking for. I was looking for more in character interaction than player to DM interaction.
Plus, like, look how good I look. I can't deny the world seeing this face. Come on. Especially during a pandemic. I don't even get to go outside as much.
Just move to Florida, bro.
Oh, there you go.
Texas now too.
Yeah.
Wow. So this again from Music Maven. Do you have a preferred race, class, gender combo? If you do, why?
I don't think I have I'd say I lean more towards casters. I like to have fun with my D&D. Not that you can't have fun as a fighter. Obviously, like Jaeger is such a great example of that. Like he's a fighter, but with this like crazy, awesome backstory, and he's funny. We'll go funny.
We need to find him a new comedy god.
Yeah. He needs to get some new gods.
Jaeger will figure it out for himself eventually. Like he's naive, but he's not stupid. Like he'll get it soon.
Very soon.
And then in gender, I'm mostly male just because I identify male. I usually play male characters, but I actually one of the characters I proposed for this game was a female that I didn't end up playing.
Very cool. I tend to play what I would categorize as off types. Like, I am a white bisexual guy. So the character that I played before this was a straight black woman.
Nice.
So I use D&D as a medium to explore different things about different people. So Jaeger's a special case because he kind of doesn't really fall into all of that. Like, sure, he's like characterized as male, but I mean, Warforged in a sense are genderless, or sexless too, I guess.
Both.
Yeah. But like when it comes to characters, I try to go with something that is so opposite of me that I have to do research and become them, or else I run the risk of not doing it right. And it's kind of like that pressure that gets me to play that character better. So when it like race and class combos, human is an easy one because you can literally do with a human anything you want. But one race that I did play, which wasn't exactly official, but it was a nymph, like a mountain stone domain nymph. That was really cool because they're inherently like nature based. And it's like if you pair that with a druid, you have a lot to work with. And druid would be my go-to class because I've played a moon druid, I've played a wildfire druid. My favorite go-to class after Tasha's was stars because it's such a powerful subclass.
Broken. I think the word you're looking for is broken.
Maybe, but I still love it.
Is it 14th level that they basically become immune to damage?
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah, not broken at all. Just
No.
Yeah, when
damage.
even the publisher of the book comes out and says we might have overdone this one just a bit, you can figure out that it's probably broken.
But yeah, my experience with being a player is limited, but druid for sure favorite class.
Okay, here's these are from actually Kies posted these in for everyone. What was the inspiration? Well, actually, I got a question from Anthony for Kies. First, this is specifically for Kies. Who's your favorite character in the campaign, and why is it Costo?
Oh, that's an excellent question. It's Costo because he's just like really weak, and I feel pity for such a weak person. I feel like I gotta pick him up, take care of him, really carry him across the finish line. Like those like videos of somebody's like about to finish a race and then their like leg breaks or something and the person picks them up and carries them across the finish. That's me with Costo. I'm just carrying him across the finish line with his broken leg.
All right, that was great. Kies, this is for both of you guys. And Costo does say, "Thank God he has you." These are questions from Kies. What was the inspiration for your character?
Do I have to go first because I wrote the question?
Yes, you do. Now that you brought it up.
So, funny enough, when I was thinking about this character, the inspiration came from like those old I guess they are real old now. The Mission Impossible movies, like the first one with Tom Cruise, and they would do the thing where they would like rip the face off, and it was like, this was a mask the whole time, and I'm actually Tom Cruise. It was like I was watching that, and it made me think of like the Mask of Many Faces ability that warlocks have. Because then I was looking, and I was like, I think it's what is it, like Inquisitor Rogue or so? One of the rogues can sort of do that, but like not as good as just taking a warlock and being Mask of Many Faces. So it started with that, but I was like, well, I don't really want to be some sort of like military covert spy Tom Cruise warlock. I wanted to be a little eccentric. I guess eccentric is a good word for Kies.
Fun. I like fun. Yeah. That's a great word.
Yeah, he's fun. I want to be a little fun. So it Kies technically evolved from Mission Impossible.
Wow, that is great.
That is how he came to be.
Wow. Yeah. Jaeger was a product of just utter failure. I wrote a backstory that I thought would fit into the world, and then Josh came to me and he was like, yeah, the entirety of this doesn't work. Because like one aspect of Warforged changed everything. So then it was kind of like a group, like me and Josh together, put together this character, which in my mind, like the real inspiration, I guess, would be like, how do I take something in real life, make it respectful in my portrayal, and kind of present it within fantasy. And so with this character, I wanted to take a really heavy topic and in a way kind of make in a little way, like I want what Jaeger is and is going to be involved in kind of like a message to for other people to recognize symptoms of real life people. So if someone were to watch Jaeger later in the campaign and then see someone else in their life who is struggling with the real same other things, I want Jaeger to be so one-to-one that they're going to be able to see Jaeger in real people. So ties into the last question. Like, I have to be really respectful. I have to make sure that I'm doing things right. And so when it came to like really put the final touches on Jaeger, the overall like idea of him was, let's take something really, really dark and really, really heavy and put it into someone that doesn't know that they're dealing with these things.
That was there was a lot of back and forth, a whole lot of back and forth between Tim and I when creating that character. That was and he
I have
was
so many more questions now.
I know, right? And he really put a lot of time and understanding into what he was working with, not just for the world, but also for the character motivations as a whole, and a good way to portray that within the realm of the campaign that would be analogous to what he's hoping to use the character kind of to portray. Mm-hmm. Without blowing into his backstory too much.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, any details above surface, like below surface level, with this guy is going to spill the beans in a major way.
Yeah, what's this dark thing that you can just tell us? It's cool.
I mean, hey, you'll find out whenever Jaeger finds out.
Can I steal his answer? That's way better than Mission Impossible 1.
I mean, now that I think about it, though, that would be... Could you just imagine if, like, a regular dude stumbled onto that tech and was just like, I'm going to do all kinds of crazy stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't, like, do something crazy and then just peel the face off and be like, I'm a different guy?
Yeah. Like, I'm not actually that guy. I just... like, if you... Seriously, like if you go back and watch those movies, they're like so dramatic with like, because like they kind of have to be, because it's actually just the other actor, and then they like do the like fake mask, like, yeah, I'm Tom Cruise.
So what I'm getting from this is that this supposedly undone female character is actually Kies, and Kies is just a disguise.
No. The female character, I think, will be fun to play, just probably not in a streamed game.
Yeah, those are really good answers. I covered both that and the thought process in building your characters. This also from Kies. Want to share some information about your character's backstory that the party will learn over the course of the campaign.
Ooh, over the course. Yeah, let me go back like a month ago. Kies was, in like a port town. Then he saw some really nice wine, got on a boat, worked really hard on that boat for a while, then ended up at another trade town. Obviously, that's what.
I'm sorry, did you use hard work and Kies in the same sentence?
Yeah, he back me up, Josh. He worked hard on that boat.
He worked real hard at yeah.
I just imagine that scene from the sequel to 300 where the lady discovers the spies on her ships because the spies' hands were not as callous as the rest of the workers.
Ooh, that's probably really accurate.
When I say worked real hard, I mean he worked really hard at not doing any work at all.
Yeah.
There it is.
And he eventually ended up, again, following the finer things in life, ended up in not a great situation, and that situation brought him to Pudmit. And surprisingly, the rooms in Pudmit were way nicer than he expected.
Yeah,
I will say that.
I want to imagine that Kies has some evil aligned ex-wife out there that is probably going to come get him.
Grab him by the ear. No, no evil aligned ex-wife. I will reveal that much.
Yeah. Darn.
Jaeger, some information about your character's backstory that the party will learn over the course of the campaign.
That's difficult. Jaeger is very much, his backstory is very much tied to the lore of the world itself, which has been hinted at. But I guess like one thing that isn't too harmful is that, like, you will probably find more Warforged out there with a similar marking as him, and that's going to be a fun time when we do see that.
It will be fun when we find those people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this one, I guess both of you guys have abilities that would fall into this, but thought process on spell selection and any fun flavors you add to your spells.
I mean, spell selection, obviously, like with the Mission Impossible inspiration, it was 100% going to be the Mask of Many Faces, disguise self, as kind of his like go-to thing, which is probably why he did not hesitate to turn into Atriel. It's like, this is how we're going to solve this situation.
I was like, oh, here we go.
That is, how do we solve a situation? Turning into the person that can solve it for me. The bane of my existence in this town is that there's so many dwarfs, and I can't become a dwarf.
Just the upper half would be invisible.
Yeah.
Just walk on your knees and the rest of your legs.
Like, there's it kills me. The dwarfs. I could maybe do. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the Furbog's name? I love him. Hygor. I could maybe get away with Hygor. He might be a little shorter, but I could maybe do that. But yeah, all the dwarfs, it's killing me. I'm like, I can't do that. And then, flavor wise, I'm trying to archfey it up a little bit with Hex. I kind of imagine as like a little pixie kind of coming down and like draining some sort of essence from the enemy, just kind of behind them, things like that, because it is an archfey druid. Figure I should throw a little of that fey in there.
Archway Warlock.
Or Warlock, sorry. Druid. Druids they can be fey like Archway Warlock, yeah. So yeah, throwing that in there with a little of the flavor and trying to that's one of my favorite things about D&D, honestly, is and kind of why I asked the question is like flavoring up spells, doing them a little, because when you read the spell description, a lot of the times it's just, this is what the spell does. It doesn't tell you this is how it looks, sometimes it does, but
I mean, that's a huge part now, especially after Critical Role really showed how you could flavor spells and keep them the same. Kind of paved the way for that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's, even just this past week doing the Matrix, like ground ripple for shattering the ground, I'm like, that sounds cool. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, the spell functions the same. It just looks like this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How boring would it be if with every spell they told you exactly how it has to look? That would just, people would start flavoring their spells anyway in spite of the book.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jaeger. You have some abilities that are like spells, so.
Yeah. I guess I can couple this back with the question of like inspiration for Jaeger. Jaeger is very much taking on the role in the party of like the sniper. And when it came to creating Jaeger, Chris Kyle was one person that I wanted to reflect in his character. I read his book when it first came out. It was total tragedy when he died. And so originally, Jaeger was going to be a blade singing warlock. I'm sorry, wizard. Because
Still a Warforged?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But then I thought, maybe I want to lean more into just kind of like the basics of combat and not get too crazy with spells. So then I kept looking and I saw Rune Knight. And I said, oh, this is just enough magic for me to not have to worry about it all the time. And so then it was like, oh, you get to grow larger? That's easy for a Warforged. I mean, that's pretty dope. And so then with Rune Knight, it came into like, I could be my own ballista, my own siege weapon. And so when I read that, I thought Rune Knight was trash. I didn't read it all the way, and I didn't really give it the respect it deserved. But when I went back and reread it, I was like, whoa, that is such a perfect mix of magical ability and like a bump into your martial abilities that I couldn't pass it up.
I do like the flavor on rather than just expanding, that the plates kind of click and like unlayer almost like a transformer when he turns. Which I think was a really good touch. We're going to take some of the questions from the chat here. The first one we're going to take here is from Jake, who plays Leonard. He asked this directly at Mickey, but I'm going to let both you guys answer it. What was the inspiration for the accent? Where did it come from? So we'll start with
Jaeger.
Kies.
I think Jaeger should go first. The inspiration for Jaeger's accent.
Oh, the accent is so perfect. So with Jaeger, like obviously his memories are gone, and I wanted his voice to also reflect that. So I had seen in other stream games how someone had used a voice modulator and thought, well, I can't have a Warforge and not use a voice modulator. Like we're introducing Jaeger, normal man. So I went and found voice mod, got their like premium license and started playing around with things. And then kind of like experimented with like clarity and stuff and kind of adjusted my speech patterns so that the voice modulator could still sound clear. So in the future, we may see the voice change a little bit depending on how things go, depending on like if certain things in the world allow for that. Because normally within D&D, Warforged just speak normally and it's fine. At least like outside of Josh's homebrew realm here. So it's actually something that we're going to have to continue to talk about in the future of whether or not that is going to stick. But also like my range is dreadful. I'm the Frank Sinatra of D&D voices.
Love Frank Sinatra.
That man has a range of 6 notes.
Seven. Come on, let's be real. It's 7.
So I have to lean heavily into like quirks of speech, kind of like catchphrases or the occasional accent. My accents range between bad Frenchman and bad Russian. So yeah, the voice mod does all the work for me.
I'd love one day like Jaeger's just talking like a proper English gentleman.
This is my real voice.
Yeah.
Oi, sir, you seen any of these goblins around?
I don't know if that's
and all that sort of yap.
You think I sound British?
One of CLP says, can confirm your accents are terrible.
Nice.
Let's see you step up to the DM plate, Mr. CLP. I can say that because I know him in real life.
All right, Kies.
What a one shot.
Ooh, That's tough.
Do it.
What was the inspiration for your accent, Kies? Where did it come from?
So, my wife loves to watch this show called 90 Day Fiance, which
Watch too much of that for my own good.
the obviously the premise is that there is people from another country either coming to marry someone in the States, or somebody from the United States going and marrying someone in another country and living there, which exposes me subconsciously to all of these different accents in the background. And Kies kind of comes from one of the not characters, I guess, real people on that show. That's where his accent kind of comes from, but the guy that does it is a very serious guy, and Kies isn't really a serious guy, so it's like his accent but a little more cartoony, so it's kind of like a little more the Count from Sesame Street. So kind of yeah, little in between the Count and a very serious Eastern European guy.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah, that's so 90 Day Fiance. So far my character is based on Mission Impossible and 90 Day Fiance.
I imagine there's an alternate version of Kies out there that looks like your stereotypical guy from like Turkey with like a gold chain and the big open shirt. Probably owns like a shawarma stand.
Maybe something like that. But they don't call it shawarma.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I mean, the many different names.
This one also from Leonard. What would be a cool combat combo? Cool combat combo you could play off each other.
Oh, us two or me and Leonard?
No, you and Jaeger.
Oh. Oh, what can we do?
Let's see.
I know. I gotta like. I definitely don't know all that a rune knight can do. So I'm like, fighter, shoot thing, hit thing, do damage, kill.
Let's see.
Because I can think of a huge thing that I could do with Leonard that I don't know if I want to say, because then Josh, the DM, will stop it from happening.
I'd rather be surprised. You know what? You guys should talk offline, and because I want to be surprised by what you guys can come up with. That's one of my favorite things as a DM, is seeing how I can be undermined.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will say at higher levels, Rune Knights get some abilities to control dice rolls on reactions. So if Kies was coming out with something and the enemy rolled well, then I could use a rune to be like, try that again. So I don't unless Kies has something really special up his sleeve. It's really just kind of like field control that I got.
Yeah, Kies has some field control as well, but he's built a little more for social interaction than combat. I mean, not that a warlock is useless in combat. They Eldritch Blast, and then they Eldritch Blast, and then Eldritch Blast.
I mean, that's pretty much the go-to.
I mean, you could do, again, like crowd control kind of things. He does have Phantasmal Force, so you can obviously keep one guy locked down while, Jaeger just, plunks arrows into another guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's this is from Nova Blue. I asked these last Thursday. What character, these questions are for your characters, not for you as players. What character do you think will be the most problematic for the party, and how problematic do you think your character is going to be?
Ooh.
Can my answer be Jaeger for both?
It can be. Most definitely can be.
Because I see Jaeger being a problem, not because of his actions, but because of what is happening around him. Because Jaeger is meticulous and kind of calculating, kind of like is his nature. So for him to pull some like thick-headed move and totally like, like on the level of Keyleth jumping off the cliff, like Jaeger would not be in that situation to start with. So other than Jaeger, I think probably Leonard, because there's literally nothing that we know that could get us into trouble with him, and that's worrisome.
Yeah, Leonard. Oh man, I swear, if he has some sort of shady, like he's secretly a serial killer or something, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes,
like, that's like, oh yeah.
No one is that cheerful and doesn't kill hobos on the side.
100% agree. He is like, he's like Jack the Ripper. He's like murdering
he has
prostitutes
food on
or
him.
Something. Yeah,
all the time. Where does it come from?
Yeah,
true. I mean, I will defend him here for 1 second. He has food on him all the time, but you've only known him for like 2, maybe 3 days tops. So that's not really a lot. Like, that's how much food I would carry on me if I were traveling, like, all the time. So
I don't eat or sleep, so it's all weird.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna say the standard pack comes with like 10 days of food. So
10 days rations, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got those, but yeah, I'd say so. In character, definitely Leonard. I think that guy is up to no good, secretly serial killer.
Where is Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll?
But yeah, exactly. Out of character, I have heard, these, character chats or character introductions, and I think Costo will probably end up causing some trouble for the party. And possibly Jaeger. Like I hear this dark thing, and he's had 10 seconds of vision of his past, and it was all awful. But Kies doesn't know that. So Kies probably really likes Costo and Jaeger, but I think they could potentially be ones that cause some trouble for the party.
True.
Listen. Jaeger's greatest enemy is himself. So we'll see.
Close. Depends on how I roll his arch nemesis now.
unless the god of all devils, if Asmodeus shows up and is like, "You slept with my wife,"
how? Just mechanically,
listen, man.
It's an issue.
Kies already thinks I have a vibrate setting, and that's enough.
That's true. All right, this one is coming from Beer Kukerski. Hope I pronounced that right. And Anthony, dear Kies, what are the daggers you have?
Daggers? What is he?
It's been doing some character
looking at my character sheet. I have not broken out daggers. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think they mean the dagger that you got from.
Oh, the one dagger I got from
Bierkowski. Okay.
That or Costo just got caught in 4K.
It's like, man, I mean, granted, if he has a dagger, it's not like he hides the stuff. He's a guy out on the road. You got to protect yourself,
Right. The magic ones that you have. Well, you only have one of those, am I right?
I only have one, and I just got it back this past session. I had it for like 10 minutes, and then I didn't have it. Now I've got it again.
Since this question is from Anthony, they have not been identified yet, so who knows what daggers you have.
Gonna be real serious right now. Alejandra almost got 8 in the very first like 30 minutes of her conversation. So the probability of those daggers, or at least one of them, being hella cursed is
Slim.
high.
Slim. It's totally slim. I mean, at least no one has been like, yeah, I want to just start using this dagger and, you know, let me sleep with it under my pillow.
Yeah,
crawls
and then
in your
all of
ear.
a sudden, and then all of a sudden, every time you're healed by another character, you take in a level of exhaustion. What?
Oof.
That's rough. Especially if it's Kies, because he doesn't have a whole lot of hit points yet.
Oh, especially I did not roll well on the level up either.
Oh yeah, that hasn't gone up to YouTube yet, so that will be going up hopefully between. Everything should be updated and uploaded to YouTube between now and Sunday. So
Don't mind me. I'm level 4 and have over 50 hit points.
Yeah,
I can share.
who would have thought that like uploading 4-hour videos to YouTube is difficult and time consuming?
the upload
I
part
thought
isn't
we were
hard.
living in the
It's
future.
it's the processing
Yeah.
on YouTube's end that takes 17 days for some reason. All right, I got that one. All right, let's flip back over to what was posted in Discord. These are from Cypher. These are from Kevin, who plays Cypher. From a narrative perspective, what role do you expect your character to fill in the party? Example, the leader, the heart, the smart guy, team mom.
For a second, I thought you said Teen Mom, and I'm like, oh, that's another horrible television show.
Team mom. Team mama.
Wolf.
Kies is probably the reluctant adventurer. Is that a role? Does that count?
You
Yes.
are the Usopp on our crew of pirates.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I could step up to like a Pippin. He could be a Pippin.
Okay.
He just kind of ends up on the adventure and, you know, has growth. Pippin grows across the story arc there.
He does. He really shines.
Yeah.
At the end.
So there you go. That he is Pippin. He's the Pippin.
Where are we
Nice.
going?
He would not be opposed to second breakfast.
Yeah.
You need people of intelligence on this mission.
Yeah.
Quest. Thing. Where are we going? I could see that being Kies.
Yeah.
Like, we're going back to the mine. Why?
I mean, it's dirty. There was things that tried to kill us.
Then when he gets there, he's the one that opens the passage. Like, all right, you drug me down here. Let's go.
It's just like, well, like, cause like I could just see that was like his thinking, like, oh, you just want to knock this down? Oh, I could do that. Like, like just casual about it.
Yeah. He hates going to the beach, but will have fun once he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. Jaeger, what position do you, or Tim, what position do you think Jaeger will fill in the party narratively?
I imagine that he'll play kind of like the moral anchor. Especially later on when he has more of a hold on things. You know, I don't want to make a character like emo McEdgy boy. But I did like take a little bit of inspiration from like Clint Eastwood and the kind of like the seriousness and the shortness kind of, you know, attitude that will come out a little bit later on. So I guess like to put a title on it, he would be like the straight man of the party.
Gotcha. Like the walk in the razor straight narrow edge.
Right.
That kind of.
What I imagine later on we'll see a situation where Jaeger is having a hard time seeing the gray of a situation.
There'll be a lot of those.
I expect it. I want to.
There already is. You know who's just as shady as Jaeger is the dwarf foreman woman, Miriam. She's up to no good.
don't know that.
Oh, she's up to no good.
Could be.
She just wants to make a really intense mushroom soup, and we just have to kill the myconids to get there.
Aren't myconids friendly?
They're like peaceful. Myconids as a species are like peaceful and passive, but they're not like, they're like neutral. They're like the neutralist of neutral. They're just like, we live here, leave us alone.
See, I could see a situation where she wants to like burn them out because she wants to get to the minerals in there.
She might not even know they're there.
Oh, I'm fairly certain that up to now there's no malicious intent in her. I think she's either paranoid that there will actually be a problem in the city, and she has some kind of drive. Maybe it's driven from some kind of trauma that she constantly needs to know that things are okay, or she's just straight up got like dragon fever and needs more.
She is a dwarf.
Yeah. But I can see there being a community of technically underdark creatures in what I think would go down as her describing it as like her mine. Then we would be in the middle saying like, well, you can't like do this. They live here.
That's a good perspective to have on that.
I'm saying, as a perfectly normal human who looks perfectly like a human, Kies is very appreciative of the lighting in the little myconids area. Helps a lot.
It is true.
Why? Whoever created the Warforged didn't add a flashlight. Curses upon their gravestones.
If your character, this also from Kevin, if your character were a normal person in a modern world, what would they be doing?
Ooh.
Jaeger would probably, currently right now, he would probably, he would need help living. He would probably need to go through some kind of like
assisted living program.
Yes, assisted living program where like they teach adults who have like learning disabilities how to properly go about life. Later on, Jaeger's in therapy and he's probably doing a couple community outreach programs.
What about you, Kies?
Kies is, I don't know, like doing YouTube makeup tutorials or like Instagram influencer.
Okay. I could definitely see that being Kies.
Yeah.
How many
TikTok,
followers on
like-
TikTok? Yeah.
Yeah, like
How many
painting his
followers would
face and
Kies
just
have?
Yeah. Just he does YouTube videos, makeup tutorials, TikToks.
Does Kies do cosplay TikToks?
Oh.
Is Kies a thirst trap TikToker?
Ooh. That is a real good question. I'm gonna have to let you answer that one.
That he probably is. Honestly, he's probably I don't want to say like trust fund kid, but he is not, struggling, no pressure to like get a real job to eat. So he makes, TikToks that are possibly a little thirst trappy.
Is his last name Upper Crust?
Is there
Oh yes. Oh.
is there a theme song for your character, or a song you feel portrays them best?
Ooh, let me pull up my Jaeger playlist real fast.
We can't play anything. Remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just looking at stuff.
What do you think he is?
Well, so I have to say this one just because so Machine Gun Kelly has a song called Kiss Kiss that when he says it, it sounds like Kies Kies. So probably that, even though it doesn't really have anything to do with Kies, it just sounds like it.
It's chanting his name so he'd be
Yeah,
into it. Like, ooh.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Kies Kies. And then I'm pretty sure he talks about like drinking and like Yeah, this. Yeah.
I can't choose, but I have 3 if people want to go and listen to them at some
What are
point,
they?
and then they'll. One is "Song to the Siren" by This Mortal Coil.
Okay.
Sam Smith's "Writing on the Wall" from 007 Spectre.
Okay.
And I'm not too sure how to pronounce it, but it's Fleure. That's the artist.
Flurry.
And the song is simply called Soldier.
Okay. Okay.
Very.
Check those
They
out
all hit
on YouTube.
They all hit on different aspects of Jaeger.
Okay.
None of those hit on the comedy god aspect.
You're starting to pick up on things.
So here's a good one also from Kevin. Consider the moral dilemma of the trolley problem, which is the let 5 people die or pull the lever and kill 1. What would your character choose and why?
Oh, that's easy one for Kies. He is not pulling a lever. That's too much like work.
Okay. Just excuse yourself from the I'm out.
You think I could pull a lever? What am I, He-Man here? You know, that's someone else's job.
Jaeger, if Jaeger witnessed that, he would consider that a evil act because you allowed more people to die than what could have died.
So the many over the few.
Mm-hmm. Jaeger would likely, depending on what if this situation was presented in a different point in the campaign, he would pull the lever and simply let the 1 die.
Okay.
And because he sees that as like a metric, kind of like numbers positive.
Okay. Yeah, sacrifice the few to save the many.
Mm-hmm. But if later on, if there was some situation to where Jaeger could make up in his mind, or if someone that Jaeger really respected told him not to get involved, he would have conflict there. Because for one, he's like, I got to do what is perceived as right.
Right.
Because, like, evil can be disguised as good.
Right.
And then in the situation of, like, if, like, to put the name superior on it, if a superior told him to not pull the lever, he would likely not pull the lever.
Okay.
So if Kies told him to not pull the lever, he'd be like, I'm not pulling that lever. Kies is superior to me in every way.
Listen, if Kies can get there, then it is a possibility.
I could also see Kies doing the like, oh, I'm trying to pull the lever. Oh, it's
not strong enough.
It's stuck.
Is there a way that we can drift the train on both tracks?
I mean, hey, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Can we pull some like Fast and Furious moves where now all of a sudden there's like a jet engine on the trolley and it flies?
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
So this is from Music Maven also. Who has tattoos? How many? When did you get your first one? And do you have any specific artists?
This is all you, buddy.
Yeah. Is the answer for you 0?
Yeah, I am currently in talks with an artist to get a tattoo, but currently I am.
Kies are colorful people.
My body is a temple.
So decorated.
No.
No.
Yeah, I'll put up a nice painting, maybe a tapestry. I want to get some like stained glass.
Like a face tattoo. That's what I recommend everyone get their first tattoo on their face.
On their face.
Another face. It's just a different person.
Look, start small, go with the neck, then work your way up to the face. Come on.
Go ahead,
neck.
Mickey. Go ahead, explain your tattoos.
Okay, so I have a lot. It's I'm at that point where I don't know how to count them anymore, because do you go by hours? Do you go by sessions? Do you go, because I've done I think I've done an 8-hour session before. I think that's my longest tattoo session, which, if you're just getting like little bangers, you could get, you know, 10 tattoos in 8 hours if you wanted to.
Should probably measure it by square inches of canvas you have
Square
left.
inches. Yeah. Well, so fun fact, I only have, this is, oh my gosh, mirrors, cameras and mirrored. I only have the right side of my body tattooed. So it's basically this, not face, hand. I almost got a hand tattoo. I was talked out of it. Those are, for those not in tattoo culture, hands and neck are referred to as job killers.
Yes, they are.
I was talked out of the hand, so I don't have the hand. I mean, the obvious one right here is koi fish into Darth Vader dragon. That's kind of the big sleeve, easiest to show, other than like taking my pants off and showing my whole leg.
Kies would show us.
No, Kies would. Mickey will
Kies
not.
would. I will not take my pants off on stream.
I'm going to need you to PM me a video.
You have to start the stream with your pants off, then you're okay.
Yeah, it's really weird how they work that stuff.
But yeah, so the sleeve, it's funny. I'm not going to say I have one artist that I go to, but I have a artist that has done a lot of my work that I go to a lot. And when I went to him for this, the original thing is I was like, hey, like, I want to finish the story of the koi fish and do the koi fish turning into the dragon. But I was like, can we do the dragon instead of traditionally they hold a pearl. I was like, instead of holding the pearl, could they be holding the Death Star? And he was like, yeah. He was like, do you want to go more Star Wars with it? And I was like, go as Star Wars as you want with it. So for as large of a canvas size, I kind of gave him free reign, and he came back with Darth Vader dragon drawing that I saw the day before he tattooed it. And I was like, let's do it. And that this was obviously several sessions, but
that's how they do them.
Yeah. This is honestly my it's weird to say that my Star Wars dragon is probably my most like serious tattoo. I have a lot of like new school stuff. I have like a ninja rubber ducky on my leg. I have like Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Classic mom on the butt cheek.
Yeah.
Your name.
Yeah. I have your name tattooed on my butt. So yeah. So I have kind of all the way down just this side. I have what I want to be the first tattoo on the left side of my body. Just something for my mom, ironically, with the classic mom tattoo, but that'll be the first thing on the left side.
So have you...
Music Maven, before we jump off that, Music Maven says, we need a Mickey Thigh NPC, and then we can have the Battle of the Thigh NPCs.
Oh, there you go.
So our thighs will have to clash.
I don't know how I would turn my thigh. There's like the ninja rubber ducky is the back of my thigh. I don't know if that still counts as thigh.
I mean, mine is just like a big symbol. It's not like anything crazy.
Yeah.
So why do you only have tattoos on your right side?
It just kind of started that way. It wasn't like something I planned from the beginning. I just kind of, started doing I started doing my arm, and then I started putting like some little ones on my leg, and then I started filling up the leg and then finishing the arm. And like the back, and I was like, oh, okay, this just kind of became my thing. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep it. And then once I had the idea for what I wanted to kind of symbolize my mom, that's when I was like, all right, I'm staying right side until I get this, tattoo for my mom.
That's a and then COVID and no more tattoos for
Yeah. Well, I have the artist in mind that I want to do it. She's actually based out of London. I've been tattooed by her in London, but she comes and does stints in New York from time to time. But obviously, COVID and travel and everything, that's not a chance. So. Again, like I said, I have like one artist that I go to a lot, but I've kind of made it a thing to go to like famous tattoo shops as well. Actually down in Florida, Hart and Huntington, New York, Grit and Glory, London was Love Hate. So
what was that Florida one?
Hart and Huntington, I don't know if it exists anymore because the guy that owns it opened up a new shop that I can't think of the name of the new shop. He's Find Your Smile on Instagram is his handle.
Okay. Do your characters have tattoos? What
Jaeger
inspires these
does.
markings? Yes.
Jaeger has the one obvious like soldier with a spear through the devil's mouth.
Etchings. I guess you'd call them etchings on Jaeger.
Yeah. I would say it's like laser engraved.
Etchings.
Right.
Yeah. With a chisel.
Yeah. But that's it. Other than the ones he puts on himself with his rune carver, with Rune Knight, you literally have like a chisel that you put runes onto your items with, and then when you change them, they magically go away. So like I've mentioned that like on the like telescopic eye that he has, there's a rune there that is activatable. And so if later on I change runes and that one is the one I change out, then that would disappear. And I would etch a new rune into whatever it is I'm doing.
Okay, that's a pretty good answer there. Here's a question from Breelyn, who plays Alejandra. I guess this is only for Kies. Will your character have facial hair? Why or why not?
You saying Jaeger can't like draw on?
He could draw on, but it wouldn't like grow.
What if I got a belt of Dwarvenkind?
You cannot grow any kind of hair, so.
But it's magic.
Well, no, it says if your character can grow hair, it has a chance to roll it every day.
I was gonna say we could just like minor illusion some hair onto.
Ooh,
now I kind of want.
Jake does bring up that moss could grow on Jaeger's face.
Oh.
Okay, moss beard, hella dope.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Kies would rock the like 5 o'clock shadow look on purpose, because he thinks it makes him look prettier.
It's like rough around the edges, kind of.
Yeah. Like it makes him look a little tougher. It's kind of the same concept of like the bedhead, but it's like styled to be bedhead. So the 5 o'clock shadow, like, because it makes him look more ruggedly handsome.
Okay, this is a fun one. This will throw back to Tim's finding of fantasy. If your character went to Hogwarts, what house would they be sorted into?
There's not enough love for Hufflepuffs. But Jaeger would be a solid Gryffindor.
I agree with that.
I don't know. I could see Jaeger being, manipulated by the joke gods into going Hufflepuff.
But he would probably get manipulated after he got there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, he would probably get sorted into a house, and then someone would be like, "Hey, didn't you know that they messed up your sorting? Like, you're supposed to be in this house." And then Jaeger would just lose his mind, like, "Oh my god."
He would just go there. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Kies? Mickey, where do you think Kies would end up?
He is a solid Slytherin.
I agree with that all
100%. There was a quintessential Slytherin. It is Kies, like to the T.
Mine is the evil.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like, people say like, oh, Slytherin, they're the bad guy ones. And it's like, no, like they don't have to be bad guys. They just, they get what they want through not like, oh, I have to rush into battle to get the thing. They can, solve problems in a different way.
Okay, so here's one from Mickey for Mickey. Why are you so awesome?
Oh, this is such a great question. I'm glad you asked this, Mickey.
I object.
This one is for Kies from Music Maven. Why does Kies sleep naked?
So that's a really good question. I would say one, it's kind of instinctual. That's just how he sleeps. Like when he goes to bed at night from, growing up, he slept naked. And that's now that he's in a random inn in Pudmit, sleeps naked. That's just how he feels like you should sleep. I would say it's probably also a little when he wakes up in the morning, he wants to be able to see if anything on him has changed. I'll say that.
Okay.
If anything looks a little different, and if you're naked, you really know.
Following up on that, will Kies sleep naked in the wild?
He probably would. Assuming we're not like literally just like sleeping in the back of a cart while it's moving or something.
True.
He would not strip down for that. But if he's got his bedroll or some sort of tiny hut to sleep in, which would be really great if the party had access to that.
The ambient temperature in here is rather warm.
Rather cold, it looks like.
little chilly in that hut, Kies. Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one from Leonard, Jake/Leonard. When the stream is large enough to do a fundraising drive, what would be something you'd be interested in donating towards?
Didn't Jaeger have some big real world backstory that you could give us insight into by picking a charity that secretly gives away information into your backstory?
I know what my charity would be something like suicide prevention or awareness, something like 22 a day, or the Valhalla Project, which are both veteran suicide awareness. That's something, I've lost, unfortunately, more than my share of friends to. So something like that.
That's something I could definitely get behind as well. My wife works sharp. I'm sure you've had to, in your day, take a sharp training or two, which suicide is part of that. Anybody in the military probably doesn't like it too much because it's basically their equivalent of like HR training.
Yeah, it's tough. When I was infantry, so it's like a bunch of guys that just came out of like a town that was like mud pit, but they've lived there for like ever. They come out and they smell, and they're like, "Oh, we have to do training," and they're like, "Oh, can't we just smell Like
Yeah,
no
yeah,
one will sit with us. Um,
So
yes.
I get down that. I think personally, like Alzheimer's research is something that's close to me. Is something I could get behind. I think Kies could get behind that as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I would have to do a little research on it, but it would definitely be in the realm of like the POW MIA realm of charities.
Yeah. It's I'm glad everyone said something decent.
Decent.
Listen, I had someone try to donate to some. I've had people donate. Well, when I was in the military, I had people donate to some weird things. So
I would like to donate to the My Wallet project.
that's pretty much it. Another one that
we're gonna pledge $500 for tattoos for toddlers.
well they had one of the things I donated to in the past was and I think that they've they've taken a pause in it, but it was Project Cyborg, and it was spearheaded by a doctor in England, and it was implanting chips into people as like a. It sounds weird, but it was like they would implant it into the nervous cluster or the nerve cluster in like your arm, and then so if you had lost your arm, you would be able to control like a hand, and in my case, hopefully like a leg with that.
Yeah.
And it's not like a chip like where it reads what's going on or where you're at. It's just like almost like a very small reach Bluetooth or like Wi-Fi type. I think Bluetooth would be the closest equivalent, but it would like broadcast it. And I was like, oh, they could build me a leg. They could integrate with that. That would be great. But sadly, they have COVID put a pause on their research. So
Yeah, you go in one day to do some experimental stuff, and then next thing you know, Bill Gates walks in, and then he knows where you are at all times.
I mean, listen, we all have cell phones here, so he knows.
Oh yeah. Listen, I have a Google phone, and every bit of spyware is turned on that thing. The Chinese government knows exactly where I am and in what cardinal direction I am looking. They probably know like what my beard smells like after a shower and all that. It's
lucky. I mean, what?
yeah. Here's a question: what does Kies smell like?
Ooh, that is a great one. We know what Tullen smells like.
Man, I don't know if Kies has a signature scent. I feel like this is not something I thought of and should have thought of during the building process of Kies.
Wow.
What is his signature scent?
Way to build a rounded character.
I know this was not on what is it? Ginny D's like 50 questions about your T&D character. Why was that not on her list? What is your character's signature scent?
Ooh, that is a good one.
It can be either in the bonds or flaws section.
Yeah, I mean it's probably got to be something like Aqua de Jo or something.
like high class, or that high class that gets people mad at you. High class.
Probably high class that gets people mad at you. High class.
Probably.
He the commercials for whatever his scent is probably has like Johnny Depp wearing a bunch of bracelets on the beach in black and white, and like doesn't actually show the bottle or anything, and
it just says like at the end it's almost like the fin screen. It's just like
yeah. That's
there's
I'm not sure what that is, but I want it. Like
I don't know what that was advertising, but I think I need it.
I could see that being Kies.
Yeah.
So here's a couple from Kevin who plays Cypher. Did you have any other character concepts before you settling on this one?
Ooh, should I talk about the female character?
I mean, you've already kind of gone into it. So the other part of this is what made you choose this character?
I mean, I don't know. I would have liked to play the female character, but apparently it's not stream appropriate to murder children. Yeah, man, who would have thought?
Dude, you should have seen what happened when Matt Mercer killed a child character.
Yeah, we're not. Let's not bring that up here.
That was
We're gonna leave that one alone.
That was wild.
It was
So, apparently that's not PC, so gosh, guess I have to go.
That was a pretty botched character concept there.
Yeah.
On brand though. On brand.
Yeah, definitely on brand. But yeah, I just I don't know. I kind of settled on I had it down to 2, and I really liked the idea of this like not edgy like far from edgy warlock. He doesn't have some sort of Cthulhu patron or deal with a devil and evil. It's he's archfey. They're probably just up to trickery kind of thing.
Just laughing at Kies like, did he do that?
Yeah. He's literally like their reality TV show. Like, look what this idiot's up to now. Let's mess with his life more. Give him another evocation. Let's see what he does with it.
I had a couple ideas. One that was a real runner-up was a genie warlock who had a gambling addiction. Like the genie's lamp would have been something that he swindled in a game, and kind of like is forced into working with this genie, or else he'll get taken by the mob and be forced to pay his debts or like get messed up. But I also had the idea for what was it? A wildfire druid, who kind of like, in a bit of a cliche way, thought fire was kind of like beautiful, and
It was hot.
struck, and kind of like had this complex where
The fire's so hot.
yeah.
Right now.
They had a complex about like they were very, very much like a firebug. Like they would like just absolutely be like a maniac and try to be burning things down, and would understand that is socially unacceptable, but it would still be like, I want to. But at one point I had like 6 different characters on D&D Beyond for this campaign, and I was like, probably not.
I'd say early on, I've had a character concept for a while that like I've just never found the right game for, and this probably wasn't it either. But it's like an 80s hair metal bard that just wants to like write the greatest rock song ever, and feels like he needs to go and like actually witness like devils or something to like write this like epic like.
So kind of like Tenacious D.
Yeah, exactly. Basically Tenacious D, and he just as a D&D character.
In a campaign of mine, I had a mechanic called Invoke the Metal.
Nice.
Where they were in Avernus. We were running the Avernus book, and I was like, each of you has one use of this ability. You will roll a d4, and it will last until that many rounds. And until then, you all have advantage on all of your rolls.
Ooh.
Why would you ever get rid of that?
And then they refused to use it in their fight against Tiamat and wiped. So,
I mean, that happened. Holding on. It's like holding on to all your health potions to the last boss and being like, I didn't even need those. I'm going to die anyway.
If CLP is still in the chat, I'm sure he has some words about that.
I just like the idea of like a bard, coming to like, put me ready to rock. Oh, I heard they knew how to rock in Silverguard, but nobody rocks like Pud me.
Do yeah, they have like real big shoulder pads. Like,
Yeah.
The arch enemy would be a Karen writing calling the cops about a noise complaint.
The town's guard just like, come on, guys, we've been here 3 times this week. Okay, so here we go. This is for Tim. Jaeger has stated that he feels things differently, but he seems to understand shame. Does he feel this differently than other people, than regular people?
Did you say pain or shame?
Shame.
Shame. That's an interesting one. He doesn't have shame in the way that like bodily shame. Like he isn't self-conscious about the way he looks. He literally looks like a penny that's been left in like
You dug up in your
in a
backyard.
couch. Yeah. So in a way, he doesn't he's not self-conscious about like being clothed or the way he looks. So,
I think
if
he's
you were
referring to when you had the issue with creating the handle for the shield.
oh yeah, okay. This is another thing where Jaeger feels something and doesn't know why he's feeling it. To loosen the faucet a little bit, Jaeger is a perfectionist but doesn't know it, and so he feels the angst and shame of not doing something perfectly, and is then confused why he feels like that.
As a perfectionist, I can totally understand that you'd have no idea where that comes from. You're just like, why? It's okay. Why must I have to touch it 3 more times?
And this
So does Mickey, apparently.
making the
Really
handle,
relatable.
making the handle was the first work that he has done since waking up that wasn't knocking someone out or shooting an arrow into a snail. So that of the things he has done, it is run, fight, and try to be safe. And then this comes around and it's just horrible. That's an entire 1/4 of his existence.
1/11 of his existence is this handle, literally.
Yeah. So you could imagine if an 11th of your life was just utter shame, it would cripple you.
That's it's like when people get like irrationally mad at a kid because they're upset over something small, but you're like, to this kid, that's literally been 10% of his entire life is this one thing that he just messed up at, and I realize to you it's small, but to him it's
It's
big.
everything.
Yeah.
We're just lucky Jaeger doesn't have a full hissy fit every time he stubs his toe.
True. Here's a really good one from Kevin. In this passing session, a constructed man with squishy bits helped turn a monster with squishy bits into a constructed item. When can we expect Jaeger's existential crisis?
Ooh.
Jaeger is constantly in a state of existential crises. There isn't a moment in his existence that he is not questioning everything.
I mean, he has counted the number of days he's been alive, so I think that's an existential crisis in and of itself.
He's curious of things. He's curious, why was I asleep? Why am I different from normal people? Why am I made of metal? That's weird. He's self-conscious in a way that normal people can't understand. Because, like you said earlier, he was born as a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
He doesn't have experiences to support his thoughts. He doesn't have a foundation. So Jaeger is literally on the cliffside of falling apart mentally, but he's keeping it together because things just keep moving.
Okay. That's a very good answer.
His only memory older than 11 days is awful devil war dream that he had. Oh, cool. these are my only these are my only
Yeah.
thoughts.
I mean, what would you think if your only memory was literally Doom? It's just your Doom guy.
Doom.
Yeah.
It is a thin line that he rides.
Okay, I like that. That's a very, very good way to explain that. This is for Mickey. If Kia's entire body were permanently muddy, except for one section he could press to digitate, where on his body would he choose and why?
Ooh. This is an excellent question. I have two answers. Sticking with the heart of the question, it would be his face, because he could at least cover everything else with like clean clothes, and he could just keep his face clean. But what he like if this actually happened, what he would probably do is just constantly be casting disguise self to look like a clean version of himself. You know, just constantly. I am always an illusion.
That's
What if someone
really good answer.
What if someone slaps you in the butt, like good game, and then it's just
Yeah, they get like a muddy handprint behind. They're like,
Oh,
oh, what?
through your clothes. Go through your clothes.
here's another great question from Kevin. What was going on in Kies's head when he was disguised as Altriel, and did he expect Leonard's disguise?
Well, one, I don't know if does he know it was Leonard? Yeah, so he doesn't actually know that guy was Leonard in disguise.
Well, I guess he did say that. Yeah, because Tulin did say, "Oh, by the way, Jake is Leonard." So yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jake McLeod. He's the real hero of the campaign.
Yippee-ki-yay.
But going through his head was honestly like, this is just how things get done. Like that's his. He would see that as just like, this is normal. This is what you do. You just make yourself look like the person that will do the thing for you, and then have them do the thing. And
So the way I'm understanding this is like, I'm just gonna sham my way through this as best I can.
yeah, that's I mean, that's literally, I would say that's all he knows almost, you know, like this is, how do you survive life? Well, you just make yourself look like someone else to get around a situation, and now you're around the situation and problem solved. Yeah, that's just how he solves problems. So
that is a great life hack right there.
yeah.
So
just make yourself other people.
So from Kies's perspective, does he ever expect consequences?
No. I like, not at all. That's just how it would go, because like in his mind there would just always be, again, like that's how you solve the problem. So if he's in some sort of bad situation, he would just
sham a way out of it.
Yeah, like, oh well, now I look like the bad guy and I just walk past everyone. Like,
I'm going to need Kies, if he ever gets the final shot on someone, to morph into themselves so that you are killing the monster as them.
Breaking Bad starring Kies.
Yeah.
Literally spend a whole action to look like the enemy. Wait till the next round comes around to then attack them as themselves.
Wait till they're incapacitated and then like wake them up as like, wake up, I'm you, stab.
Yeah.
You've been dead for weeks. Boom.
Okay, so here we have another one from Jake, Leonard. Who do you want to team up with, and who are you afraid of having to team up with?
I'd say afraid of teaming up with Alejandra because we've seen her do just put her hand in a bag and almost get it bitten off, and she just magic surged appeared out of nowhere. And I guess we've technically, this is more player, we've seen her magic surge. Nothing incredibly awful has happened, but yet.
Was I the only one praying for a fireball during that town gathering?
Oh, that would have been so bad for you guys. Just so bad.
Literally the worst possible.
That would have been
scenario.
Campaign derailing at its finest.
Yeah. Like, all of a sudden, we're evil characters now.
Yeah, now you're being hunted by the town's guard and everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
Initiate jailbreak campaign.
Yeah. Literally, like, did you hear about the group of adventurers that murdered an entire town? Like, who am I excited? I think at later levels, I'm excited to do fun things with Leonard, and some of his chef bard stuff is pretty cool. Making use of like the exhaustion mechanic, I think, is something that doesn't come up a ton in D&D. Other than like, you give the party the choice of like, well, you could push through the night, but you're going to have a level of exhaustion, like,
yeah,
it comes like, that's kind of a classic choice that comes up, but you don't see it come up a lot in like combat. So I think that's cool to like think of like, oh, how can we play around that? Like now this person has like half movement speed.
Right. What about you, Tim?
Like, I want to say Alejandra, but that is too easy. So I would probably say Costo, because Jaeger would want to try to sail through a situation. Like if it were a fight, sure, Costo would be good to team up with because he can DPS out the wazoo. But from his performance in the social interaction last session, where we had the situation good, we were great until he called her a bitch.
How like life.
It was in the bag. We were about to shake hands on it, and then it disintegrated before our eyes. So probably would not want to team up with Costo in a situation like that. Who would I want to team up with? Probably Cypher. Because we're in a way, like, we're kind of similar in that we see a problem and we're going to go fix it.
Okay.
So we're technically like men of action, so I think that would be like a good, like, let's get a buddy cop movie made of Jaeger and Cypher.
It's like hitting all the things.
Yeah, two muscle bound dudes just being
You
dudes.
stab someone, we'll hit you. Yeah, we'll kill you. Oh, you jaywalked, we'll also kill you.
We're going to reboot Judge Dredd.
Did you just throw that on the ground beside the trash can? You're getting killed.
You guys are turning Judge Dredd into a buddy cop movie, and it's like, I kind of want it. Like,
okay. Yeah. This is from Braylin. Who in the party does your character feel the most similar to? And on the opposite, who do they feel the least similar to? Jaeger, we'll start with you this time.
he feels the least similar to most likely Kies. Because Kies is easily approachable and talks real fine to everyone.
Okay.
And Jaeger looks at Kies interact with these people with like such whimsy and just using that charisma stat to its utmost finest.
No idea why, but just yeah.
Yeah. And so Jaeger's like, that guy talks good.
Him use word well.
Yes. So he feels dissimilar because he can't be at that level. And that's frustrating for him. But he probably feels the most similar to Costo. Because Jaeger is picking up on a lot of angst in Costo. And Jaeger kind of sympathizes with that, even though he doesn't know like what it is or like how it'll really like show itself. But he's like, this guy seems frustrated, and I'm also frustrated.
Are you both just sexually frustrated?
Ooh. Topic's not for Twitch.
I mean, it has been thousands of years for Jaeger.
You remember that scene from Scary Movie?
Kies, who do you feel most similar to, and who do you feel the least similar to? This is from your character perspective too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. From Kies' perspective, it's funny, you know, like from player perspective, you would think like Tullen or Alejandra, because they're both kind of chaotic characters. They're a little like eccentric, unique, and he's a unique individual. But I'm gonna flip it, and I'm going to say Jaeger. And I don't think I can say why, because that information is not out yet.
Are you also a metal man?
I am not also made of metal, but he is very interested in that you only remember the last 11 days. He was really interested in kind of the mind magic that Alejandra was doing. So I'm going to say Jaeger from Kies's perspective, and least probably Leonard. Just he's like a morning person. He's very happy, excited to help everyone and do all the work, and like double booked himself. Like, what is that? Like, you double booked yourself working? Like,
Leonard's is that weird
concept.
kid that your mom made you play with because she was friends with their mom.
It's like, yeah, how you double booked yourself to do two different jobs at the same time?
Two works. Not just two things, like two works.
Yeah.
It's like you could always double book to have two different people to have line with.
Yeah. Like, you'd be like, oh, I'm supposed to be at two parties tonight. Like, that's, you know, we'll split our time. We'll figure it out. But like, I'm supposed to work at the forge and in the kitchen. Like, come on. Nah. No way.
These are from Leonard. Are there female warforged? In this world, no, they aren't. There are not.
How very Greek.
Yes, they are very. As they were constructs, as they were constructed as for a very specific purpose, they were made in the typical fashion of a male body. So, but they are pretty genderless, even to look at. But there are no female warforged.
The original Warforged was a bounty hunter called Django Fett.
Django Fett.
Could we build a female Warforged for science?
No. You could technically build one, but you couldn't automate it.
Nothing like a little welding.
Yeah.
Okay, so some session questions. What did each of you think when the bag decided to eat Alejandro's hand? From your character perspective.
Okay. Because I was about to say, like, I expected it from you.
Yeah. Player perspective. I'm like, you don't touch anything. You don't put your hand in anything. Like, come on. This is D&D. Anything could try to eat you and kill you.
Yeah. In the moment, Jaeger's like, okay, we got to do this. We got to get this thing off her arm. We can't let her get eaten after just coming out of a snail. And afterwards, however, he is like, oh my God, there are bags that will eat you. What a horrifying thing. I don't want to be here. Why? He's like, why did I wake up to this?
Yes.
Yeah, Kies, honestly, seeing the bag, he would have zero desire to pick it up, much less touch it or put his hand in it. It was dirty. It has been in this cave for who knows how long. That is not something for him. He would have at least prestidigitationed it first if he was gonna pick it up. Like, this is not for him to touch. So he was thinking, like, she's crazy. That is so dirty. Why would you pick that up? And now it's eating you, and it's just kind of proving his thought again. Like, it's proving his thought process right. Like, you just
don't pick that up. It'll eat you.
Yeah, it's a dirty, gross thing in a cave. Like, why would you touch it?
That is such a true way to look at that.
Yeah.
That's how people die in horror movies.
Exactly.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Towards the creepy sound, running up the stairs away from danger.
True. Yes, that's just like a horror movie. Like every horror movie I've ever seen. Okay, here we go. These are 2 questions from Leonard. The first, from your character perspective, what magic item would your character be interested in? And then what, on the other perspective, you as a player, what magic item would you be interested in?
I think I can do this both from character and player. I could see if we could flavor like a Rod of the Pack Keeper as a really fancy cane. Kies would definitely be into that. Like, and as a player, like, obviously, like, for a warlock, that's like, hey, this is a really awesome magic item, just player wise. But if that was like flavored as like, just look at that cane, that is the nicest cane I've ever seen, I do actually want to touch that, would be Kies.
Okay.
I could see maybe like an alchemy jug that can make like really fine wine.
Oh, jug of infinite wine.
Yeah. But like quality wine.
Taking notes.
Not like Franzia or anything, like.
Right.
Listen, Kies will see the one thing that gets him excited. He will touch it without asking, and that will be the first cursed item.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like this. Oh, you see this gorgeous cane with like inlet filigree and like.
In comes
yes.
Kies, like, hey, bet, like, yoink.
Bet.
Now I look like someone else.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
He'll just walk outside with it like different person.
Oh, the way you said that, I was thinking like, oh my God, does Kies's image change every time he goes unconscious? Like in battle?
In battle.
Like, oh my God, what a horrible existence. You just change faces.
Thankfully, Kies is so strong and powerful. He will never go unconscious.
I can shoot you 3 times and you would die.
That's assuming. Yeah. What about you, Jaeger? M/Jaeger. What would your character want, and what would you want?
So in character, Jaeger would probably want some sort of invisibility, like like a ring of greater invisibility, so that he could post up unseen from somewhere and take some shots before he's discovered.
Okay.
Very much still drawing inspiration from like Chris Kyle's book and stuff about like SEAL snipers and their like kill boxes and stuff. But then, like, as a player, I want to see some kind of upgrade to Jaeger's eye, where like he could probably see with perfect clarity up to like a mile.
Legolas, what do your elf eyes see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we buy a spyglass, which I don't understand how D&D justifies a spyglass being 1,000 gold pieces.
I mean, a
okay.
pair of spectacles is 150.
Sure, and that is wild because isn't like the average monthly wage for a normal person like less than 10 gold pieces?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you have to think of the
D&D has
economy.
amazing insurance.
Well, no, you have to think of the economy. Most people in that era, most people that couldn't see just lived a life of blurriness.
Oh yeah.
I mean, realistically, that's just how that was, because grinding lenses is so difficult to do.
Yeah.
So
1,000 gold pieces for a spyglass.
yeah,
That's
glass
big bags for
is
me.
really hard to make and hard to polish without.
Yeah.
As Jake also says, yes, it's really hard to make something of that caliber that would function well enough.
But it would be dope to find like a deactivated Warforged with a similar modification and just like rip it out of that one and implant it into this one, and then it's better.
And then it wakes up and it's like, my face!
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
It now that Warforged is hunting you because it wants its eye back, and like
Just making enemies wherever we go.
Arc 3, big bad evil guy, Warforged. Like,
Arc
Make it
3,
Warforged.
you done this to yourself. No.
yeah.
Here's another great one. Name a cursed item to drop on another character. So pick one item in the character you'd put it on.
Give me a second here.
That's I'd kind of want to just like make up something like really fitting for the character, you know, like
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go for it if you had some.
I just came up with something pure evil. A mundane cursed item like a coat or a necklace that makes Tolan's wild shapes random.
Oh, that's man. That's almost game-breakingly evil.
You going for bear? Sorry, buddy, you got an octopus.
Even worse, like you got a mouse.
Yeah, you're a bunny now. Like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, like doing something to my own character because I don't want to wish ill will on all the other great people. I would say like something that just makes him perpetually dirty. Like he's just like always dirty, and you're like, whoa, what is happening?
There's his Rod of the Packkeeper, but he must always be dirty to use it.
Yeah. Like it's just like his new mission in life becomes like how to break this curse. Like, this is like the worst curse you could possibly put on him.
Then you find out that it's not cursed and it's just people putting dirt on you when you're not looking.
Yeah.
You know what would be wild is some kind of like parasite, some like crazy parasite or cursed item that is making Jaeger rust.
Go on.
But the magic prevents him from actually saying, "Help me, I'm rusting because of this."
Oh, so he knows but can't tell anybody. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, or like something that makes Leonard lose his sense of
I'm
taste.
just I'm going to go ahead and make a new character real fast.
Oh, Jake says belt of gender change on Costo.
Yeah.
Tullen says, how could you do this to me, Jaeger? And CLP says a coat of dirtiness for Kies.
Yeah.
It would clean the floor as you walked and add it to the coat.
Ah, no. Awful. Like,
Honestly, that's amazing.
Or pants of the pig pen.
oh, man.
That is a good one.
Now I'm definitely wishing something of losing your sense of taste on Leonard.
That would be tough for Leonard. Real tough. Let's see what else.
Oh,
do we
you know what'd be
have
funny?
here?
It's like if you have an item that says it gives you true sight, but it just really doesn't, and you're giving the character false confidence.
That's a great idea. like a mundane eyepiece, and people are like, "Yes, I feel so." Like, no, there's just nothing here.
Like, you don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Well, here's a good one. What is Kies's last name?
It's
Upper crust.
No. It's Sum, S-U-M. Kies Sum. That was definitely written. That was easy.
Yeah.
Unlike what is his signature scent that was, for some reason, I didn't think of when writing the character.
You didn't make a ambient smell before your last name? What are you even doing with yourself?
I know. I went last name and then completely skipped over
What
signature
a weirdo.
scent. Yeah.
Here's a good one from I think Leonard asked this, I think. What was the most game-breaking play you've ever made as a player?
Ooh.
You want to go first, or
No, go for it.
Are we talking like narratively or like mechanically?
Narratively.
Okay. Buckle your seatbelts. I was playing in a Acquisitions Incorporated game. I was playing a Stars Druid, and the DM had allowed me to add the Graviturgy spells to my spell list. He thought it thematically fit, like space and gravity stuff. We had, mind you, we were, I think, level 8 or 7. I had 4th level spell slots. We had snuck onto this floating ship, which was our rival business's base. I think it was floating above Neverwinter. And it was described as massive, like a super star destroyer. Just like as big as the city below it. We snuck on. We stayed hidden for like a whole day, and then when we were found out, we were about to teleport out, and my character was like, "You know what? I'm going to set off a gravity spell in the back of the room so that people can't chase us through this teleportation." Well, we teleport out, and then like a day or two later goes by in game, and someone comes up to it and says, "Hey, did you hear that Neverwinter was literally wiped off the map?" We go, "I'm sorry, what?" They said, "Yeah, that ship blew up and crashed into the city, and the DM told me that my gravity spell went off right next to one of the engines." And I was like, "A 4th level spell did that?" He's like, "Dude, the engine room was on the other side of the wall. It collapsed." So then I was keeping track of kill counts, and everyone was at like 20, 30. The rogue had like 40 kills. And the DM was like, "Go ahead and add 200,000 to that count for yourself."
That's a rough estimate on the low side.
Yeah. He was like, "Imagine if a superstar destroyer crashed into LA during rush hour."
Oh, that's millions right there.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then the game fizzled out literally the next session. Or, no, that was our last session.
Wonder why.
Yeah. You-
I told the DM, I was like, you did it to yourself, bro. It was a 4th level spell.
murder literally an entire city.
CLP in the chat, he's like, I know this one. He was there.
Go
heard
ahead.
this story.
What about you, Kies, or Mickey, I should say?
Man, when I just think of like stupid strong kind of like is where I went first, is literally just paladins with like 4th or 5th level spell slots rolling a nat 20 and being like, I'm going to divine smite this, and like I think that is just
That's part of it being a paladin.
yeah. Like you're just like, let me just drop all of these dice, because
The
that's
fact
how
that
much
you can
damage
choose
I
to smite after seeing the
after.
dice
Yeah.
is everything.
Yeah, I think that's pretty crazy. I will say, like, I'm gonna go with one that I'm just kind of proud of, probably not most like game breaking or anything, is gnome wizard, not high charisma or anything like that, attempting to do like a infiltration thing, like no rogue in the party, so it's like, yeah, I got this, guys. No wizard, because I could like fit through the like vent kind of area. It was like Aetherpunk style city. So like this like vent, and he like crawls through and is like failing all these stealth checks. Any sort of check I could fail, I probably failed it. There's clearly like an alarm system set up of these like patrolling like, I don't know, balls of light kind of thing. Set those off, steal the item that I was going in there for, and again, man, best spell in the game, disguise self as a little girl, and disguise self lets you change something you're holding as well, and made the item I was stealing into like her little doll. And so I was like a little girl with a doll, and like all this security comes rushing in, and I just start like, I'm looking for my mom, please, like bawling little girl, like I can't find my mom. And like the only check I succeed like that whole time is like nat 20 on this deception check to like totally get out of this situation, and like the guards like lead me out. Like just whole kind of scenario just completely undone, and get escorted out by the guards.
Oh,
You don't
that's
have a
fantastic.
mom.
Yeah.
You don't have a mom. You belong to the streets.
My
Here you
mom,
go.
I can't find her.
Get out of here.
Just looking for my mom. Can you help me find my mom?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Especially because like gnome, I could just be a little 9-year-old girl, no problem.
Yeah, that's like only like a
Right.
foot taller than you are normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Tim destroyed a whole place, whole populace, and we have Kies disguised as a little girl and snuck and got escorted out after stealing something.
Just I just like that, like no escape, nothing. Just here you go. We're gonna take you out.
Bye. Hope you find your mom.
My chaotic good character had a rough time thinking about that.
Oh.
Look at all the innocents that died. I guess that's the pull the lever.
Yeah.
That's the opposite. Pull the lever. One person dies. Don't pull the lever. Everyone dies.
I mean, that's, he was kind of in that situation. The original idea of it was like to help us escape. So it's
Yeah.
like, do you potentially kill 200,000 people to help yourself escape? Or do you risk getting caught and save 200,000 people?
Right.
In my defense, I didn't think a 4th level spell was going to do that much damage. But oh, was I wrong?
Every spell has the potential to do that much damage. Here's a great one from Jake, who portrays Leonard. What is a pet peeve of your character?
Dirt. Does that count?
Being dirty, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Dirty people, dirty things.
Thank God you don't have to use spell slots for prestidigitation.
Oh yeah, oh my god.
I'm useless here. I just cleaned myself. Like,
Well, that's like going into this next session, I'm really hoping people are friendly because I got no spell slots.
That makes me wonder, like, in the world of wizards who have prestidigitation, how often do people actually bathe?
often.
Like people with magic.
Often. So it's like the difference between dry shampoo and regular shampoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're clean, but you still have that
It's a hoe bath.
Yeah.
Just pits and that's it.
Yeah. All right, Jaeger, what is a pet peeve of your character?
I don't know yet, but I'm excited to find out what it is when it happens, because then Jaeger will just be like, I don't like this at all.
Doesn't know how to contain it, like ugh.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be able to hold it back. He would just be like out in the open, like, this thing, I hate this thing. Like, get this thing away from me.
Snail snot on Kies. I could imagine that.
Like if I were to pull from myself, I am someone who is severely allergic to cats. My doctor said that I am 7 times more allergic to cats. I see that ear, by the way. I see those ears.
I was gonna say.
I'm 7 times more allergic to cats than the average person who is allergic to cats.
Yikes.
So if I wanted to have Jaeger just be mortified of the presence of a feline, then let's go.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
At the backseat, just oh my god.
They would like you to show the cat, Mickey.
Oh. Wait. Come here. This is one of them. Say
No one
hi,
can
buddy.
ever just have one cat.
Sorry. He's not happy that I made him say hi. Now he jumps down.
My pupper is out of the room right now.
Well,
She would go through
that one was on my lap. The other one's laying on my foot. Oh, and now they're fighting each other.
You have like an all black cat, right?
Yeah.
I just see the one spot of your screen that is just nothing.
Pure blackness.
There's one cat in the pure blackness now, just sitting.
And then this one looks like he's about to. He's about to be a little asshole and try to knock this door off its
Hinges again.
hinge. Yeah.
Jake did point out that there will be no cats at the hot tub episode. So when we hit that follower goal,
Hot tub.
Jake 2,
subscriber goal.
Jake 2, do not harass Jaeger with a cat. Do not wild shape as a cat.
Yes. Any other questions from the chat for our two player/characters here? You can ask either the players or the characters. But
I want to ask a lore question.
go ahead.
Would this so this is from player, not from Kies.
Okay.
Would this memory that Kies is, or not Kies, that Jaeger is having, would that be of something that a player could potentially have heard of, like some sort of epic devil war? That's
Can we find it in a library somewhere?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, you would. So you would have a general idea of it. It's kind of like what you would know of is kind of like the way we know of World War One. Like you read books about it and you hear like a tale here. You hear about this guy and that guy, but you never really know what happened.
Yeah.
Like, there was this battle and these guys won, but you're not sure. So I think that and the difference is like Jaeger's getting glimpses of it from the guy in the battle versus the history books. So you would know some things, but like the specifics of what he's talking about, you're not going to be like, oh, this battle was on this day at this time. So yes, you would have an idea. This would be of what this is. Those of you who are educated would have an idea like of what these creatures are. These giant creatures. You would know them as gods. That for some of the more educated players.
Yeah, it's like if you're watching the History Channel and they're talking about the Russian soldiers coming into Berlin and like taking the capital, you don't exactly hear the story of that one squad that was.
It's even much less than that. Like, you know that there were, like, it would be like getting the level of information you could find in the world on it would be like there was this war and it almost wiped out all of humanity, and what we know of it is this side versus this side, and that's what these were created to help this side, and this group fought this group, and then that's really all we know about it.
In my mind too, I would imagine that like the people who write the history books, like if we got lucky, they're not in some weird way prejudiced against Warforged, where they like actually would write about who, like, what the Warforged actually did. But then
it's kind of a more like not enough people survived to write this stuff down, so they're like,
because it could totally be like a Star Wars thing where there are certain people who just hate clones.
No, it's more of a Sumeria went to war with Egypt, and like nobody really kept track of it enough to explain anything. It's just we know that this group fought this group and this group won. Gotcha. So it's not there's no nothing in that aspect.
Could it be to the point where like some people don't even believe that happened? Like, that sounds fake.
Probably in like the more isolated places. Yeah. But there's enough like magic and like that's where magic and stuff comes from. So there's like
stuff left over that you're like, okay, well,
people to talk to, really old wizards and probably a priest.
Oh yeah, you're not even touching that. I mean, like the oldest of the elves don't remember this. So
I am a very old man.
Yes.
I'm basically the Avatar. I've just been frozen in my iceberg.
Jake says, how old is the Leonard says, how old is the current era? So the time between these visions, when Jaeger went to sleep and when Jaeger woke up, is somewhere in the realm of a little over 10,000 years. So you got to figure this age probably started about 1,000 years after that. So, you know, like time for humanity to like come back and all the races to kind of come back from the brink of extinction, pretty much.
10,000 years will leave such a crick in the neck.
Yeah. So I don't know if they would classify it as like an era, but like the periods in history, this since the war is give or take 10,000 years, and you'll find out exactly how long later. But
I would say that the current era started when Kies was born, and you're now in the Kies era. So you guys are
the era of the great Kies.
Yeah. You guys are lucky enough to live in this era. Yeah.
BQ for before Kies and QA for Kies after.
Well, you also have the Q.
After Kies.
You have the DQ for during Kies.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to live in that period, that's the golden age of all time.
See, what you really need to do is we got to start writing down what you say and making sure that gets like emboldened in red text.
Yeah. Someone should just follow Kies around like, and on this day, Kies said,
how many more party members do we need
so early?
How many more party members do we need to make it 1 leader and 12 followers?
Oh, Kies. The great Kies said, on this day.
I don't know why Leonard isn't already doing that. Like, what did he go to Bard College for if not to notate the story of Kies?
Kies
Oh.
could totally be like a Joseph Seed from Far Cry, just like some radical cult leader.
Oh man.
I don't think Kies well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mickey, but I could see Kies like not. I see him more as the Umbrella Academy, where he just kind of became a cult follower because everyone loved him, but wasn't really like interested as much in them as he is in himself.
He is not putting in the effort to like start a cult and like run a cult.
Kies is the traveler.
He would probably welcome, like a harem, but he's not going for the effort of like, oh my gosh,
Like I have to like what?
Like I gotta make Kool-Aid and give it to everyone. Like that's too much.
Tullen said he has it covered. So any more questions for them or me, or do you guys have any questions for me? Any other world questions that the players would like to know, but the characters would not know yet?
I don't know if you want to cover it, but I did see some people asking about like decks of many things and like problem DMs. So
I don't do deck of many things because it's too random. I just don't.
Yeah.
I've just no.
I think the deck of many things has a place in like one shots, or like honestly, if you're doing a really chaotic campaign that you're like deck of many things.
Yeah, like I'm not planning anything. Just the whole campaign is every card on the deck of many things.
is deck of many things.
Or I kind of use it as the like I'm done with this campaign. Let's see what you guys can do to break me.
Yeah, 20th level campaign.
No.
See how this goes.
No, it's more. It's not even like 20th. It's like I'm so frustrated with you guys. Let's see who dies from the deck of many things first.
Oh, let's draw these cards.
My last session as DM this last Saturday, they traveled into the 5th layer of hell to retrieve a player's soul who drew the void card.
Nope. They're all the void card.
They wouldn't have had it happen. I set up to where there was you could only draw 6 cards from it in total until it disappeared. And they had drawn the moon card and got 3 wishes. Used one to fix something that was mundane, and then when the deck disappeared, they said, "I wish to draw 1 more card," and it was the void card.
Why didn't they just wish to undo it then?
Well, their soul gets sucked out.
Oh, that particular player. Oh yeah, it wasn't the group that got the wishes. It was one player. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's awful for that guy. Why you gotta be that guy?
So then the rest of the party goes trudging through the icy layer of Stygia, 5th layer of hell to get them back. Nearly died.
I hate Stygia. Well, since we're not having a lot of questions, we're gonna touch on some of the announcements again, and then we're gonna call it a night. Go ahead.
Sorry, it just got me thinking. The like writing down what Kia says. He keeps a journal. It's not like a Zanga like dear diary or anything. It is literally just like a list of things, and I'm like, man, I wish this was actually like memorable things he said, and that's not it at all. I was like, damn, this would be so much cooler if it.
Listen, the moment in the first episode where was it Cypher and Costo that was outside the herb shop, or no, it was Kies and Costo.
Yeah,
y'all, and then y'all left us.
We left
when we came out of that herb shop, and I said, "This is how you die," and everyone just busted out laughing. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to play this up."
And Kies just, I'm clean like you.
I'm like so wishing this was what it was, but like I'm doing it in like I'm writing it as a player, but like in character,
right?
And it's like literally just a list, like bullet point style, not like journal style,
right? Today I told Costo that I am.
Yeah, I wish that's what it was, but it is so not. That's not
Captain's
what he
Law.
would do as a character.
Yeah.
It's not what he would do, but like, man, I'm like, I wish this was what it was.
That is, yeah.
I like just opened the file to like look at it. I was
Just
like,
to double
why-"
check.
I was like, why aren't you like cool, like documenting the era of Kies?
Crazy.
Yeah, that would be a great. I mean, you can always go back and rewatch and just notes.
That's true.
Yeah, we should start a Kies quotes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, in
I
Discord page.
I like a good alliteration. Iteration.
So we're gonna call it a night right out there, guys.
Yeah.
But I just want to remind everybody that Anthony will be running a sub-only stream for our Twitch subscribers on June 3rd. So make sure you get subbed in before May 30th at 5 p.m. so that we can draw. We're going to draw 5 names and make sure that we have them all. And that will be streamed.
Twitch Prime sub counts, right?
Twitch Prime sub, yeah, every sub counts.
Just use your Twitch Prime.
So, yeah, we'll be announcing our 5 winners that Sunday, and we will have the game that Thursday. So, just want to remind everybody of that. Don't forget to hop into our Discord where we regularly interact with our loyal fans, and you can become a Bostrals Insider there, where we will have some special things for everyone who's over there as well. So, thanks everybody for hanging out. We couldn't do this without you, and we just want to thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
But,
thank you. Thank
we
you.
will see you guys all on. We'll see you guys all on Sunday. Bye, guys.
See you Sunday.
Ah.